Let's check out Gremlins 2 The New Batch for Game Boy. Well, to start off, you play as Gizmo. You can get different weapons like a pencil, music notes, and the toolbox. The toolbox will protect you against enemies for a few hits, kinda like a shield or limited invincibility. The pencil weapon sucks. You think you're hitting the enemy, but they'll just pass right through the pencil and touch you anyway, so the hits are really cheap. And one thing I don't like is that you can't even get the pencil weapon if you've already gotten the music note weapon first. But you are allowed to get them vice versa. It's so stupid, just let me get them anytime. So the weapons are all bad, but let's talk about the controls. They suck. One simple thing that I hate is that you have to be on the very edge of a block to make it to the next ledge. If you're not on the absolute last pixel of the corner, there's no way you'll jump the gap. Look at this! Why does it have to be so precise? Then on level 2, how are you supposed to make it over this pit of spikes using this spring? It doesn't send you far enough, so there's no choice other than to get hit. I had to do this level multiple times, and every time I played, I never found a way to get across the gap without getting injured. I honestly think that you're supposed to get injured, because right after that, there's a heart to replenish your meter. That's the game's logic. Give the player no option but to get hurt, because after, we're going to give them a heart to make up for it, but the heart is going to be hard to reach because the controls are so bad. So either way, it's like the programmers are telling you to go fuck yourself. And look at the ridiculous jumps that they want you to pull off. They put you on these awful springs where you'll bounce higher by pressing the button, but you have to jump first, and move in the direction that you want to go after. Normally, in most other games, you could just bounce on the spring and move at the same time, but here, if you press in a direction at the same time you hit the button, the high jump won't work and you'll end up just falling off the spring. So you'll have to go all the way around the stage to get back to the spring again, and you're just going to go through this again and again and again. I seriously doubt that they had anybody test this game before releasing it. The boss of the second level is absurdly difficult. It's the Bat Gremlin from the movie. It'll start dive bombing you as soon as you enter the screen, and you have to hit him with your pencil, but his wingspan is so wide it's nearly impossible not to get hit. If you do manage to hit him, next he'll send out 3 tiny bats that fly at you randomly, and there's not much of a way to avoid being hit unless you're lucky. You hope in vain to figure out some kind of pattern, but it's futile. The game just does whatever it wants. I did finally beat him though, so here's the method that I used. After you get away from the little bats, you want to stand under him. That way, when he dives down, you can just step to the side a little and then land a hit. So if you do that enough, it can be beat. The problem is, if Gizmo's across the screen, there'll be no way to avoid getting hit by the Bat Gremlin and you'll be killed. When you die, a screen will come up with the gremlin showing you how many lives you have left. But when you're playing normally, you can always see how many guys you have. So having this screen there only really wastes your time. This game is extremely hard, so you'll be dying a lot, and all you want to do is restart the stage as quick as possible to try again, but you have to keep waiting through this pointless screen. Why does it need to be there? It doesn't. Just get rid of it. I guess this screen is your punishment for dying. The whole game is like a punishment if you ask me. And look at how ridiculous this part is. On level 3, you're supposed to ride this floating block. You have to jump over these spiked obstacles, but then the game makes you take a leap of faith where you have to land on one of the spikes. You keep bouncing on the spike while waiting for the block to come again and rescue you, but you'll be getting injured while you do this, and your energy meter will be going down. And as far as I can see, this is the only way to progress. What kind of level design is that? How would you figure out to progress by injuring yourself unless you did the board 500 times? Imagine if in real life you were trying to get across a busy road really quick. A normal person would just hit the button on the light post to get the light to change. But if you used the logic in this game and applied it to real life, the solution would be to throw your body in front of the car hoping it would knock your carcass to the other side. Anyway, I finally pulled off this insane self-injuring platforming procedure by some miracle, and when you get to the next part, there's a gremlin popping out of the ground. I used the music note to kill him, so that was easy, but then there's another one, and now I have no projectile. The only option now is to kill him with your pencil, but you can't. He'll kill you with his fireball before you can even get near him. This is one of the hardest video game levels I've ever played. So that is Gremlins 2 for the Game Boy. It is really bad. There was also Gremlins 2 The New Batch for NES, and that was actually, believe it or not, really good. I'm not going to do a full review on it because I don't really have too much to say about it other than it's good, so you should play it. And what's surprising about that is it's a movie to video game adaptation, and we know how bad those usually are. Other than Batman on NES, it's really the only movie-based game for NES I can think of that's worth playing. So definitely check out Gremlins 2 on NES, but stay the hell away from Gremlins 2 on Game Boy. Ugh.